Namaste children.
Namaste, sir.
Dear children, in the previous class, you were able to understand the meaning of the following. Confronting marginalization. Essence of Article 15 and Article 17 of the Constitution, of our Constitution. Then, invoking fundamental rights. Quintessence of poems of 14th century poetess Soirabai of Maharashtra and 15th century Kabir's poems. Promoting social justice to the SCs and STs. Law for the marginalized. And you have understood case study of Ratnam. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
In the present class, we shall discuss about SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989, Kabir's poems, then atrocities committed by powerful castes on Dalits, manual scavenging, its problems, and other things. Would it be all right?
Yes, sir.
Very good, children. Children, SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989 is an act of Parliament of India enacted to prohibit discrimination, prevent atrocities and crimes against SCs and STs. Children, in the previous class, I referred to Ratnam's case study, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Who will answer me? To which village did Ratnam belong?
Sir, I will answer.
Very good, answer.
Sir, Jak Malgur village.
Very good. Bhuvana is right. Ratnam belonged to Jak Malgur village. You all know the case study. Ratnam was studying engineering, just a 20-year-old person, and he was seeing what is going on in his village, especially honoring the local deity and inviting priests from 20 villages, and a Dalit is expected to wash their feet, take that water to take bath. You understand? This is the things that used to go since many, many years. Ratnam's grandfather, father, everyone did that. Subsequently, what happened? It was his turn, Ratnam's turn. I have a question. Why did Ratnam refuse to wash the feet of priests? Who will answer me?
Sir, I will answer.
Please.
Sir, because he did not like the age-old ritual, and according to him, there is no meaning for it. And as Dalit, he and his family and other Dalits were not allowed to enter the temple.
Very good answer Harsha has given. See, Ratnam did not wash the feet of the priests because he did not like that ritual. Rather, just because they belong to Dalit community, they used to get that work done, and none of the Dalits were allowed to enter the temple. So he was very, very unhappy. That is the reason why he did not do that. And then the powerful castes were angered. Even some of the Dalit community persons also, they were unhappy with the Ratnam's action. And finally what they did? They have asked Ratnam's family to leave the village. And then one day, his house was set on fire. Somehow, Ratnam and his mother escaped from that fire, and he did not keep quiet. He used that law, that is SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989, and he go to local police station, lodges complaint. Subsequently, what happened, you all know. So we must appreciate Ratnam's courage. We must make use of the law provided by the government. You understand, children?
Yes, sir.
Children, the caste and caste system is really very dangerous in our country. Since ages, caste system is being practiced. Powerful caste group, they unleash all types of atrocities on Dalits, which is not correct. Do you know why this SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act in 1989 came in? You know, the Dalits were put to lot of humiliation, torture, all types of atrocities were committed on them. What they will do? They finally approach the government. We want some law so that, you know, this type of atrocities can be stopped on us. They are right. During 1970s and 1980s, these atrocities went up too much. Then the South Indian Dalits organized themselves and they fought for it, and finally the government of India brought the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act in 1989. Children, also you should know, during 1970s and 1980s, after this act of 1989 came, Adivasis also, they have become alert and they organized themselves and they fought for justice for them, because their lands, their forest areas, all these things were taken away by the powerful persons, and they demanded what all our properties like land area, forest area has been taken away, that must be returned to us. And they fought for it. So, this is another very important things about Adivasis. Now, why I am telling this is, if there is a law, people get encouraged and they will fight for it. They want justice. Who doesn't want justice, children? Everyone wants justice. Everyone wants good treatment. After all, human beings must have a good social understanding and respect for each other. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Children, the Act of 1989 distinguishes several types of crimes. What type of crimes they unleashed on Dalits? Children, this is called the modes of humiliation, which is really very bad. What are those? Number one, force a member of SC/ST to drink or eat inedible food and some obnoxious substances. Second type of humiliation these so-called powerful caste people used to do was forcibly removing the clothes of SC/ST persons and making them sometimes naked and go on parade, both men and women. These are all, children, derogatory to the human dignity. This must be put an end. This must be stopped at any cost. Children, sometimes SC/ST persons were painted on the face or on the body, and they used to make them go in the parade. Again, this is also a very bad. This cannot be tolerated. Asking SC/ST and Adivasis to work as slaves in the houses of so-called powerful castes, taking the lands of SC/ST and Adivasis by force by the powerful caste people, assaulting or insulting a woman from SC/ST group or community with an intention to dishonor the woman. See, all these things cannot be tolerated by any society or anybody, but the poor Dalits were subjected to this type of harassment, which I condemn, and this must be put an end to immediately.
Sir, I have a question.
What is that?
Sir, what is morally reprehensible?
Oh, you see, morally reprehensible means violating all kinds of decencies and humiliating people. which is really very bad for any type of society. People cannot tolerate this type of ill treatment. Just now I mentioned how powerful caste people used to ill treat the Dalits. More or less, that we can say that is morally reprehensible. It cannot be accepted in any decent society. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Sir, I have a question.
Oh, what is your question?
Sir, in spite of law meant for marginalized, why there is so much atrocity on them?
Oh, this is also a very good question. Neha Sharma has asked a good question. In spite of the law, why there is so much of atrocities on marginalized? You see, mere presence of law is of no use. Making law is one aspect, implementation is another aspect. Simply if there is a law, if it is not implemented, there is no meaning for it. Just like in some schools, there will be boards. Self-discipline is the best discipline. Knowledge is power, all these things. But unless it is understood by students like you in a meaningful way, then alone it carries some meaning. Otherwise, these boards have no meaning. In the same way, Neha Sharma, unless law is put to practice, implemented, those who commit atrocities on Dalits, catch them as per the law of the land, punish them, then automatically they will think twice or thrice before committing any such crimes on Dalits. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Children, let us try to understand what is the quintessence of Kabir's poetry. Kabir asks, Pandit, look in your heart for knowledge. Tell me where untouchability came from, since you believe in it. Mix red juice, white juice and air. A body bakes in a body. We eat by touching. We wash by touching. From a touch, the world was born. So who is untouched? Asks Kabir. Only she who is free from delusion. So this is the poem. In this poem, Kabir is challenging the priest by directly questioning at him about where untouchability came from. He asked the priest to look for knowledge in his heart and not in the scriptures. Kabir goes on to describe how every human body is made up of blood and air and has spent 9 months in the mother's womb, and that everything in the world is created by touching something, whether it be a pot, a human being or a painting. Kabir takes the word untouchable and gives it a different meaning. He claims that untouchability is the highest state of knowledge. It means not be touched by a narrow limiting ideas. Therefore, Kabir finally turns the idea of untouchability on its head, from lowest to the highest state that a human being can achieve. So, the essence of this Kabir's poem is, don't talk about untouchability and untouchability. All of us have taken birth in the same way. We have to touch. Mother needs to be touched by the child. The entire world has born with a touch. Therefore, where is the question of untouchability? Kabir questions the priest, look for your knowledge in your heart, not in scriptures. I 100% agree with 15th century poet Kabir. I must congratulate Kabir for this saying. This is an eye-opener. You know, children, he said this in 15th century. We are now in 21st century. What a good thinking that Kabir had in his mind. You understand, children?
Yes,
sir.
Children, now we shall understand the scourge of manual scavenging. You all know what is manual scavenging. Removing humans and animals excreta or waste with the help of the broom, with the help of the tin sheet, then put that in a basket, taking it on their head to a nearby place for disposing. In everyone's opinion, including me, this is inhuman. Manual scavenging has been stopped in many countries, but in India, 28 years back, that is in 1993, Parliament completely removed this concept of manual scavenging with the law. Children, even though the Parliament enacted a law prohibiting manual scavenging nearly 28 years ago, still this patently illegal practice and a vile form of caste discrimination continues to thrive in many cities in India even today, resulting in several deaths. Let me explain to you how it will affect the health of the persons when they indulge in manual scavenging. Children, manual scavengers are exposed to subhuman conditions. When they work, there will be health problem. They are constantly exposed to infections, especially the skin, eyes, respiratory system, and they suffer from gastrointestinal problems. Therefore, manual scavenging needs to be stopped. Children, according to the Andhra Pradesh based Safai Karmachari Andolan, there are 13 lakhs persons from Dalit communities who continue to be employed in this job in this country and who work in 96 lakh private and community dry latrines managed by municipalities. They are not getting more salary. If they work with municipality, they get less, and if they work in the private agencies, they get very less salary. As you know, the practice of untouchability is abolished as per Article 17 of our Constitution. You all have understood this. However, manual scavengers in different parts of the country, for example, the Bangis in Gujarat, Pakis in Andhra Pradesh, Sikaliers in Tamil Nadu, continue to be considered untouchable. They often live in separate settlements on the outskirts of the village and are denied access to enter temple, use public water facilities, etc. Children, in 1993, the government passed the employment of manual scavengers and constructions of dry latrines Prohibition Act. This law prohibits the employment of manual scavengers as well as the construction of dry latrines. Children, in 2003, the Safai Karmachari Andolan, 13 other organizations, individuals and 7 scavengers files a PIL in the Supreme Court.
Sir, I have a question.
Oh, what is your question?
Sir, what is PIL?
Oh, you want to know what is PIL? Children, PIL means public interest litigation. See, our Supreme Court has given an opportunity to file PIL. In recent years only this was done. Who will file PIL? Children, there are certain groups of people, they are very poor people. You all know anybody can go to courts in our country. That freedom is there. But poor people cannot go to court because they have to spend money. They have to get a lawyer. A lawyer will not work free. He has to be given money. So they cannot and they suffer. So PIL comes as a handy. Anybody can file PIL on their behalf. Poor people who cannot go to court because of financial problem. So anybody can go and approach the Supreme Court with a PIL and Supreme Court will take necessary action. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All of you understood?
Yes, sir.
Very good. You know, in that PIL, the petitioners informs the Supreme Court by telling manual scavenging is still going on in our country, especially in the government departments like railways. Something must be done in this regard. This is the petitioner's request to the Supreme Court. Do you know what the Supreme Court did? The Supreme Court has taken a decision that find out where such manual scavengers are working. Then within a few months, see that they are rehabilitated and that job need not be done by them again. So this is the order of the Supreme Court. So thanks to Supreme Court for this. Children, thanks to development of science and technology, now manual scavenging is replaced by machines. Machines can undertake that. For your information, in most of the places in India now, cleaning of sewages, manholes, and so many other things, including cleaning of the dry latrines, is done by machines. It will suck everything, and then you need not touch anything. Manual handling is not there, machine handling. Everything is done by machines. That is a great relief for the manual scavengers. Children, you should know, every 19th November every year since 2001, the whole world observes what is known as World Toilet Day. The main aim of World Toilet Day is to make people aware of good sanitation, because sanitation is very important. Thanks to the present government at the center, Swachha Bharat scheme has come now, and in most of the villages now they have constructed their own latrines with flushing system, and thereby the problem of manual scavenging is going. In place of that, machines are coming. Special robots have been actually now working in place of manual scavenging. So, this is a good relief for everyone. Children, there is what is known as now Sulabh International Social Service Organization. They are ready to help many countries with machines. So, this is something great, but still manual scavenging is there. I know in recent years in some places, while cleaning the manhole, 2 or 3 persons have died. So, something substantial must be done to prevent such things, and the local municipal authorities must take stringent action and punish those who make manual scavenging work. Then alone this will completely stop. You understand, children?
Yes, sir.
Children, let us now focus our discussion on Adivasis' demands and the 1989 Act. The 1989 Act has given wings to Adivasis. In the sense, the Adivasi activists are now fighting for their rights, because their lands, their forest areas have been forcibly taken by some influential persons. So, now they are asking the government to see that, what all things have taken by them should be returned to them. They want all their lands back. So, they are now more organized. There is a beautiful saying, united we stand, divided we fall. So, Adivasis have become more alert now and also active. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Children, C.K. Janu, a tribal activist, she says one of the violators of constitutional guarantee given to tribal people are nothing but the governments in various states. She says many governments is allowing non-tribal people to go to tribal areas in the name of timber merchants, paper mills, etc., etc., and they are encroaching upon the lands and forest areas of tribal people. Janu says it must be put an end. There are other violators. Government is also one of the violators, means it is really very sad. You understand, children?
Yes, sir.
The activist Janu further says, in case the lands and forest areas of tribal people have been already taken and it cannot be returned, means only way of helping such tribal people is by giving heavy compensation by the government. You know the meaning of compensation? Suppose road construction is going on in your area. Fortunately or unfortunately, your house comes in the way of the road making. Then what they will say? We will give you compensation, we will give you some other place, site or something, or some money, so that you have to vacate this, so that road can be made. That is called compensation. They will help you with some money, so that you need not lose anything. That's the meaning of compensation. So Janu is very particular and says, if they cannot give it back, at least let them be given. Who? Tribal people, a good compensation. And she further says, government spends lot of money on various schemes. Why not help the tribal people? What she says, there is some meaning, so that they can also be happy, tribal people, because many acres of lands have been taken away by people at a very marginal amount, minimum amount they have taken. At least now government should give a good compensation. Children, the demand for equality, dignity and respect is not new. It is already there throughout our history. This you have already more or less studied in your previous classes also. Children, we have what is known as Forest Rights Act of 2006. The central government passed the Scheduled Tribes and other traditional forest dwellers Recognition of Forest Rights Act of 2006. The introduction to the final act states that this act is meant to undo the historical injustices meted out to forest dwelling population in not recognizing their rights to land and resources. This act recognizes their right to homestead, cultivable and grazing land and to non-timber forest produce. The act also points out that the rights of forest dwellers includes conservation of forests and biodiversity. So this is the Forest Rights Act of 2006. Children, Now let us summarize what all we have learned in today's class. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Children, you have understood that there is a need for law, SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989, to safeguard the interests of marginalized people in India. During late 1970s and 1980s, ill treatment and humiliation of Dalits was too much on daily basis. During 1970s and 1980s, South Indian Dalit groups started asserting their rights. In spite of constitutional guarantee, Article 17, still powerful caste people were unleashing violence against SC/STs. You have understood the poem of Soirabai and Kabir, who questions why untouchability. Adivasis successfully organized themselves and demanded equal rights and for their lands and resources to be returned to them. You have also understood the scourge of manual scavenging. You have understood that manual scavengers were exposed to subhuman conditions of work, resulting in infections that affect their eyes, skin, respiratory and gastrointestinal systems. You have understood that there are 13 lakhs persons from Dalit community who work in 96 lakhs private and community dry latrines managed by municipalities. Now, manual scavenging is replaced by machine scavenging. Now, robots are there and the concept of manual scavenging is almost going, but still in some places it is there, it must go fully. You have understood Adivasis demands and Act of 1989. C.K. Janu, an Adivasi activist, blames the government for the sorry state of affairs of Adivasis. The land and forest areas taken by them must be returned to Adivasis. You have understood that the existence of a right or law or even a policy on paper does not mean that it exists in reality. Its translation or implementation is a must. Violators must be punished. You have understood that non-tribal encroachers in the form of timber merchants, paper mill owners are exploiting tribal lands and forcibly evicting tribal people, and for this various state governments are directly responsible. Children, now I will give you some questions. You have to think and answer, discuss among yourselves, write and then give it to your teachers. Is it all right?
Yes, sir.
Number 1, explain the need for SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act of 1989. Explain in your own words the meaning of Kabir's statement, look for knowledge in your heart and not in the scripture. What do you understand by the term morally reprehensible? SC/ST and Adivasis were subjected to unpardonable modes of humiliation by powerful castes. Explain. Next question. Explain the meaning of scourge of manual scavenging. Why did the Safai Karmachari, Andolan Group and others file a PIL in 2003 in Supreme Court? What did the Supreme Court do on hearing the case in 2005? When was the Forest Right Act came into being? Identify a marginalized community in your area and what are their problems? These are some of the questions which needs to be answered by you people. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Children, I am sure you are happy to learn so many things in this class. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.